For the listeners who don't know you, can you introduce yourself to the listeners?
No.
Whenever, like, no offense, but like a makeup artist, sometimes like I'm like, why do I need a makeup artist on set?
Yeah, they don't really know what to do.
They don't know. They don't even ask questions. They think they know stuff and then they just do. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess I put on a good front.
I guess fake it till make it.
I know.
Right? Well, welcome back to Be Frank Podcast. We invite guests to be as frank as possible. My name is Yosuke Shingu. Today, I'm with Toni Marlo. She is a professional makeup artist, business owner, even sometimes special effects makeup artist, and on movies. I'm excited to get to know more about beauty industry today. I hope you can learn something to get inspired and see endless possibility for your life. Thanks for coming, Toni. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So how you been?
I've been good. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
It's been, I don't know, before COVID?
I think it was before COVID.
Yeah.
I know.
How was the COVID for you?
So COVID for me was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it was not cool. That's terrible. It was cool in the sense that it was much needed, like, downtime to kind of like do things, like kind of reestablish and like prep and organize, right. I took advantage of the downtime.
Yeah.
And then as far as business went, it sucked as far as like production.
Yeah.
We were all like shut down for like 9 months or something.
Yeah.
But being in Oklahoma, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but being in Oklahoma, like weddings stopped. So like, the world shut down like March 15th, right?
Yeah.
And then within the matter of like 2 or 3 days, every wedding we had booked through March or April and May, we got called. We got like 7 or 15 calls in one day.
Huh.
But luckily it was all just postponed. Nobody knew what was going on. They just put a hold on us. We weren't really like doing refunds, which was great.
Yeah.
But then like the first week of May, it opened back up
in
Oklahoma, and we were right back to doing work.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
well,
which was good, but it was also kind of scary because we were like, are we ready to do that? But
just
the
wear
jobs
a mask,
were booked.
Right?
yeah, we wore a mask for like about a year and a half.
Yeah. That's good though. Well, so for the listeners who don't know you, can you introduce yourself to the listeners or what you do?
What I do. So my name's Toni Marlo. You said that. So I'm a makeup artist. I've been a makeup artist since 2004. And I worked for a cosmetic company. I worked for MAC Cosmetics. And I managed that counter, like the one in Norman, actually, for a while. I can't remember now, like 6-7 years. And then in 2011, I went out on my own. And I wanted to work in production. That's what I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. And then, so I kind of like started doing like commercials and like small stuff. I went to esthetician school because I thought I was going to have to be like a facialist, like in a spa, to kind of, that would have to be my day job. And then I would like go and do movies. So I went to esthetician school, and by the time I left esthetician school, I looked a little bit at like the spa life, but then by then I got a call, which was the movie that we met on, and I got a call to do that little feature, and that was like a month or two after.
Which one was
the
it?
Spa. I don't even know if this is still the name of it, the Lone Grove one.
Oh,
that one, the one that like never saw light of day.
Yeah. That You Follow movie?
Yes.
Have you seen that movie?
No, I never came out, I think.
Huh.
Have you?
No, I never seen it.
No, I think it's like
I've talked to Alan before though, but
it was Alan that called me.
Yeah.
And so ever since then, so I didn't go into a spa because I was like, hey, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm just going to wait till after this little movie, and then I'll go into and I'll go into a spa, right? And then I finished that, and then right after that, it was just like another thing. And then
that was your first movie?
It wasn't my first movie. It was technically my third, but I had done the other two like while I was working at MAC.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you were working at MAC.
Story.
You were working at MAC, and then you don't have to have a school certificate to work there?
No. So if you're at a cosmetic retail counter, you're kind of like working underneath the training of that cosmetic company, and you just have to have a demonstrator's license. Huh. And a demonstrator's license is like a $20 license that you pay the cosmetology board.
Nice.
But it's under the advisement, or like you work for a company and they teach you all the sanitation things because they're the ones that are held liable if something happens. So all of my like training of sanitation comes from, a large cosmetic company.
Man, I had no idea. Whenever first time I met you, like I thought like you're so professional.
Oh,
and
thanks,
then I was
buddy.
like, damn, like I thought you've been doing that for a long time.
Well, I guess I put on a good front.
I guess fake it till make it, right?
I know. That's the worst piece of advice, too. I actually probably think I was probably more confident then than I probably am now, because I didn't know what I
Right.
I didn't know that I didn't know a lot.
Yeah.
I just assumed, yeah. But I was already in management. Like I started being in some form of management in like 2001. So I've been a manager, close to like 20 years.
At the retail?
In some form of retail. Yeah. Like I
Gotcha.
worked at a tanning place before
Yeah.
and managed. And then when I went into Mac, I was a part-time employee. I went from a part-time employee to a manager.
Huh.
Like I didn't go into full-time.
So how did you get into the like a makeup industry in the first
makeup
place?
industry. Well, so it's what I always wanted to do, like as a kid, and I was in like theater and drama, and I was thinking, I wanted to be a makeup artist before I knew what that was called.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you would watch movies, you'd watch horror movies, and watch stuff, and I just kind of knew that like that's not how they looked. Like I was like young, like I'm talking about like 5 years old, right? And I'm just like I knew that that's not how they looked. And once I figured that out, like that, like I think every kid goes through that moment of like, oh wait, there's people not in those boxes. Like this is fake.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you have that like memory. Like there's a moment where you like bells go off. Like whoa,
Right.
This is like a trick, right? So once I figured that out, well then I would watch things like, like character-y type movies, and I was like obsessed with figuring out like what they really looked like or who they really were, like the behind the scenes part of it.
Gotcha.
And I would watch horror movies, which, I'm not really supposed to, but like whatever.
Why not?
I was the 80s and single mom. She was like, whatever, just go watch TV.
Yeah.
So I would watch horror movies, but it was like scary. So the way that I would like kind of process it was I was figuring out that isn't real.
Huh.
And so that like started the obsession of being whoever the person was that was making that thing happen that was so scary was like the thing that I wanted to do.
Gotcha.
And I didn't know it was called a makeup artist. I just knew that was the person that did the thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So like whenever you get call from Alan,
Yeah.
like were you pursuing to work on the movies?
Yes. Yeah. So I met him on a movie called Yellow, which was another movie that I don't know if ever made it out, but it was the Nick Cassavetes film.
That was from I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was a bigger film that came here.
Yeah.
And came to Oklahoma, and I was like kind of plucked from the cosmetic counter by the makeup department team because they had run out of people, and that they were shooting, if I remember this right, they were shooting over there. They were supposed to be wrapped. So all of the crew, the permanent crew, they had to go home. They had to do stuff, and they needed help so bad. And our film crew base was smaller at the time.
Oh yeah, the Oklahoma film. Yeah, for sure.
And so they came to the counter. I can't remember how it worked. They came to the counter. I think they got Crystal. Remember Crystal?
Yeah.
She got hired on it. I think she pulled me on it. But it was just one of these kind of things.
Like no, you knew.
Yeah.
You knew
kinda
the person. Yeah.
But at that stage, I knew I was already needing to leave.
Gotcha.
Like I needed to get out of the retail space.
Right.
And I just started, and something I kind of tell newer artists, or actually anyone new that's starting out, is like you just have to put what you want kind of out in the universe. And I know that sounds like so cheesy, but like you just start speaking it to anybody you meet, and you tell people what you're trying to do or what you want to do or what you're interested in, and you start thinking about it, like you literally manifest it.
Right.
And then when the little tiny opportunities come to you, then you just grab those.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do like a vision board or anything, but like I knew I prepped to leave Mac 2 years before I left. Like I knew I had to transition out, but I had to figure out what I wanted to do, and I couldn't just go independent. So I had like started doing a lot of weddings on the side, on my own time.
Yeah.
Was working at the cosmetic counter full time.
Right.
I would do weddings in the morning and then be at work by 1 o'clock, work till 9. Sunday, how I would make it work.
Yeah.
And I had a good team, a good support team. I took care of them. They took care of me. So we all would like cover for each other our shifts so that we could work.
Yeah.
And then, so that's how I started the wedding freelance stuff. And then if I got like a book for a commercial, or in that case, like little like movies, I would swap my days off with my team because they knew what I wanted to do. So then when it was time for them to need something, like we like literally just helped each other out. I mean,
interesting.
Camaraderie and having like a strong support system is, I mean, that's everything right there.
Yeah. Then,
yeah.
So like, do you call yourself makeup artist for movies, or like, do you call yourself makeup artist for bridal now, or like?
I'm both.
Both.
Yeah. So currently, like right now, I tend to lean a bit more production, but that's because that's just what the current climate is right now in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But my bridal business, like if you go to my website, there's 2 pictures up, and one literally says bridal production. Like it splits into 2 branches. It's very Gemini of me. It just goes like left or right, and they have nothing to do with each other.
Right.
But that's also because brides don't really understand what they're seeing when they look at production stuff, and production producers don't want on talent like on camera talent looking like brides.
Right.
So we have to kind of make this very like easy for them to understand that these are like two different types of work, and that we understand that.
Gotcha. Yeah. So like whenever I start working on the film set, and then like that's the time I met you, and then like you're the person. Okay, this is what makeup artist does on the movie set, right? So like you had like those carry-on bag, like like with the clear, and then like every like a take, everybody say cut, you go in touch up, what I mean? Like,
so I learned that from Yellow, working with the department heads there, because they were LA based people. Yeah. And I had a notes, the notes thing on your phone, on your iPhone, and I would literally just watch them, and then I would take notes, and then they would like talk me through their bag. Like we would sit there and we'd be like, what is that? What brand is that? And we don't have these stores in Oklahoma, so I would literally just make a list all day. Yeah. And then if I had time, I would Google it on set, or I would go home and literally just like start like Googling brands. And then from there, you find the website, you buy that brand. And then I had this list in my office of every website that I found. And then this is when YouTube was getting a little more popular, and I'd find YouTube clips. And then I basically just had like this reference of like, oh, I gotta remember this brand, I gotta remember this place. And I would just spend hours of my days off.
That's awesome.
Just basically, I guess they say self-taught. Right. But I mean, you're using the resources that you have. And I just Googled everything.
I mean, ask questions and figure it out yourself.
And then you literally how to put, icicles on someone's beard, or how to make a bruise. And I already knew at that point how to do that, but like I would just literally Google stuff like that and just see what popped up. Yeah.
I think, I mean, like lately, like I think that was kind of normal things to me, and then normal things for you, and then like a lot of people like us kind of learn it that way. Yeah. But I think like lately, like I've noticed like a younger generation, we'll call. I feel like so old now.
They're not sure. Yeah, I feel so old. Yeah, they don't really know what to do.
Like they don't know. They don't even ask questions. They think they know stuff, and then they just do. You know what I mean? But anyways, so do you still do the same thing you were doing on the movie set?
Like from when we worked together?
Yeah.
I hope not. No, so I still we still have actor bags and those kind of things, like the general etiquette. Right. I think my approach is different. My temperament is different. I think I was way more on edge there, trying to keep it all together.
It had to be perfect.
It had to be. Yeah. Or I needed to pull way back. I needed to do way less on that. I think I was trying to do way too much. Yeah. And I should have just did minimal and then just let it ride. Right. But I learned good lessons. I mean, that's kind of also what's great is even bad projects or like tough projects. Yeah. Or I don't know whether the right word is regrettable or whatever you want to put it, isn't regrettable, because you walk away with like, okay, I have a whole checklist of things that I want to do different. I want to purchase different. I don't want to approach things this way. Like you walk away with just a whole list of stuff. So I'm a big note taker. So I have like lists on lists on lists of like what to do. Yeah. So and I walked away with some great friends. Like I'm still friends with several of the crew. Yeah.
So like people who are maybe working in retail today, and then maybe they might wanted to go to a movie makeup artist, right? Right. Like what do you explain? Like what movie makeup artists do?
Right. What do I tell them? So I tell them, when you're in the cosmetic world, you're putting makeup on people so that they look like their makeup is professionally done, right? You're doing it to perfection. And when you're doing movie makeup, you are putting makeup on that person as if they did it themselves. So anytime I've pulled makeup artists from the cosmetic world, which I think is a great way to start, because you have to work with all different skin types, you have to work with all different personalities. Yeah. It's kind of like when people recommend that people start out being like waiters. Like it teaches you how to multitask, memory, like you have to time manage. I mean, it
like a basic skill.
Yeah, it's a very solid basic skill working in retail. Like I swear by it. But when I've taken people from the retail space into the production space, which is quite a few now, like I have quite a few people that I've kind of mentored in that way. And the one thing, I get them to do is like, you got to pull way back. You don't need all of the layers. You don't need all the steps. It's got to look like they did it themselves. It's got to be imperfect. So you do that by like using maybe your fingers more, or you use a different kind of brush that's not perfected. It's like you're purposefully not doing it that well, not to make it bad, right? Just don't make it look like you're a pro. Yeah,
it's so interesting.
It's a switch.
I mean, like whenever, like, no offense, but like a makeup artist, sometimes like I'm like, why, like why is that like I need a makeup artist on set, you know,
Yeah, I
as
know, we
like a
talked about
production and all that. Yeah, but anyways. But
we didn't talk about that?
No, yeah, I can talk about that too. But like I was gonna give you a compliment.
Oh, okay, thanks.
So when we did a music video with I think that was a Sweetwater. I had a Ricky, and then that was like a boxing thing.
Oh yeah.
And then he had a tattoo. You covered it up, and then
Oh,
also
yeah.
like that was like a 19, like a 20 themes of like a kind of like underground
okay.
fighting, and then you put the makeup on the Ricky's face, and then that made that music video like production level to be like a next level. And then like whenever I was looking at him like a real life, right?
Yeah.
And then like, man, this is a lot of shit on his face, you know? I was like, then like it's a lot, like I just looked through my camera and lens. I'm like, damn, this looks good.
Oh, good. Thank you for that. Man, I forgot we did that.
Yeah, I mean, I never forget that thing that whenever I'm doing the period piece or whatever, I'm like, damn, I saw, like I experienced like a power of makeup, right?
Yeah.
But like it's just like how do you, like I think that's just a part of the makeup artist for the commercial or movie,
Right.
is that you're doing it for camera, not people's eyes.
Yeah, so that's hard, and I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
I HD now, and cameras are so crisp
Yeah.
that I'm finding, at least this is from my eyeballs, I'm finding that I catch more on camera,
Yeah.
detail wise, than I do with my own eyes. So, and I don't know if other people are this way. I'd love to hear. So I find that I have to like take a photo of somebody or record it and then like look on my phone. It's like it's almost crisper now. So the best I can do is go off of what I see to the naked eye. But like it used to be, but kind of pre-digital, or when things were grainier, you would kind of amp everything up for camera, right? You would key it up. So probably when we were doing that,
Right.
he was in that cellar. It was darker,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think I was like turning everything up a few notches. Yeah, if I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah. That was like,
Man, we have to watch that. I need to like.
no, that was it.
again.
I'm proud of that music
Yeah,
video, you know.
I'd love to see that.
So-
But yeah, like I had to kind of amp everything up for it. So really, I guess in my world, to answer your question, at least at this stage right now in my career, I think that it's more about the lighting than it is about the camera versus the naked eye. To me, the camera and the naked eye are almost the same at this stage in technology.
Huh.
Because it's that sharp.
Interesting.
But the lighting is what will change you. Gold lighting, and yeah.
So like what's as a bridal and a production makeup artist, like what is your typical week look like?
Oh, it really varies.
But also your business owner
Really,
too,
yeah, it really varies. So, it really varies. I mean, I'd have to break out my calendar and be like, what week are we talking about? Right? We might have those conversations. Like today, I had a bridal trial.
Right.
This morning, I had a little freedom, and I worked on my computer because I'm like right now proposing a budget to present to a smaller project, but a project. So I'm kind of like breaking down all of my supplies and kind of what I might need. So then I will pitch that and say, hey, this is what I need, and so I work on that. I have emails, and I'm really fortunate. I have a client coordinator who you've worked with before, dealt with, who does all of the invoicing and takes in all of the calls. So that allows me to then help the business grow.
Right.
Allows me to actually work and be on set, and my phone's not blowing up every 5 minutes. So I have someone that just fields calls, invoices, creates schedules, and then we have a team of about 15 now. So coordinating that. I interviewed, I met with a possible new hairstylist today, like an hour before I got here, to kind of see if she'd be a good fit. Went over our contracts. So it just varies. And then if I have a commercial, I think next week I have 3 commercials. Just me, but as a company, I mean, I could look, but as a company, I think we have a couple more throughout the day.
Yeah.
Last week, right now, our production business is has kicked up, which we all really like, and so more and more of my bridal artists are now learning how to be production artists.
Nice.
Because it's a switch, so I have to kind of working on that, like training them a little on that. So.
That's yeah, it does.
A lot.
I mean, it's I can see it, like it's just a lot of stuff. I would like to dive into the team things, but you wanted to drink that chavi. It's local, right? Let's just open up and try it out.
Do you know anything? Do you know the clubby story?
Nothing.
Like what a club special is?
I mean, I know the club special
You do?
is. Yeah.
Cheers. So this is a club special drink, and they just put it in a seltzer, but this is like a local company that we're...
Clubby, the seltzer in Gulf.
This is their new one. This is mango. I'm pretty sure they're local. I hope I'm not lying. I think they're local.
This is club special.
So it's you're gonna go to a bar, and that's like a staple Oklahoma drink that only Oklahomans know about, is a club special.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was started at a golf course in Oklahoma. I don't know which one it is. I think Oak Tree. It's like a certain type of drink that, yeah. So anywhere you go in Oklahoma, you can ask for a club special, and they know
I like
what
that.
it is, or they're supposed to. Yeah.
I think I like better than
See,
White
it's got
Claw
little
for sure.
limes and so anytime anyone asks me, because this is like one of my go-to drinks at a bar.
Yeah.
Anytime someone asks me what a club special is, like they haven't had it, I go, it's like a vodka soda and like a margarita had a baby. It's like refreshing, and it's like vodka. Well, that's a seltzer, but like when you just order it at the bar and you just get like the cocktail.
Yeah.
It's like a very refreshing lemon limey.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally drink it on the golf course. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a golf course drink.
Refreshing. Yeah.
No, good.
Well, how's that mango?
I like it. I think I like the OG better, but
Yeah.
mangoes are good.
All right.
This tastes like this is just a mango beer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so
No, I like it.
well, Clubby, if you wanna support sponsor me, link in the description. But anyway, so
Yeah, Clubby sponsor all. We buy so many of those.
I wanted to talk about that you built a team. I think that's something that I saw that I respect. There's so much about because I couldn't do it because like for me, like I have a marketing agency now,
Right.
but it's
Far we've come, Yosuke.
yeah.
I know, right?
So we do offer the services to the client, and then so like I have a client, my business partner has a client, and then we can grow the business. Like that's kind of typical way.
Right.
But the way you're doing things is, I think, a little bit different. The reason I'm saying this is makeup artist is kind of individual. People hire you because whenever I call you, it's like, hey, I want Toni to be on my set, right? Mm-hmm. But like I notice I sometimes say, hey, I'm not available, but Crystal can come.
Right.
She was great, and then I love her to be there on my set and all that kind of stuff. And then like you have like another commercial stuff and all that kind of stuff. Then you're like, well, if you're looking for this budget, we have this kind of person.
Right.
And then you're busy doing whatever. Mm-hmm. And then like sometimes like kind of for me, it's kind of like a little bit of sadness, because I want to hire you and all that kind of stuff. But I understand my budget or like project budget and all that kind of stuff.
You just didn't catch me when I was available.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I think if I would have tried to do as a cinematographer, because if I'm just doing the camera work or something like that, people will hire for my work. So you just kind of replicate, like you have MarloHause, like a standard, say you have a pricing structure,
right.
And then you have a team and then you keep growing. I think it's such a different business model. And then like I respect that you are still growing and then,
right.
Thinking about websites and stuff. And like,
right.
How did you even came up with the idea? And, does that make sense?
That's a good question. It almost happened organically or out of necessity. So I would love to be the person, like I would love to pick the brain of the cinematographer that's like, how do you have a set number and they can take it or leave it and that you feel like you can just afford to not have it?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand that part of it.
Okay.
Or when you're booked on another job,
right.
let's say you negotiate down
right.
for this job,
right? Because
you didn't have anything else booked, but then another job calls you and they give you the rate you asked for. Do you leave that other job? Like it's a genuine question to you. Do you leave it or do you just say,
no.
well, I'm already booked?
I'm already booked.
You're already booked.
Yeah.
But then that guy's got to find somebody else.
Yeah.
So then do you help out a friend or you're just like, good luck, bro? Like, so that's what I couldn't do. I couldn't just say, no, I'm not available. Sorry.
Yeah. That goes.
I had friends. Friends are great. They're wonderful. Right. Why wouldn't I connect them?
That's true.
Yeah, but then the difference that I do is because we do so much of the back end work, then it's kind of more of a control thing, but I wanted to be like, I don't want you just to call these 5 people I know because I love them, but maybe they're not great at getting back to you, or maybe they are a little more artistic, maybe a little more flighty. I don't know, but they're great.
Not artsy, but not business.
Right. Maybe they don't have a strong business. It's not that they're bad. They're amazing. It's just they maybe have more kids. They have things, right?
Right.
So let me take care of that for them because I love them. Mm-hmm. Let me schedule everything. Let me invoice. Let me take care of it. And let me just tell them where to go. And then that's where MarloHause started was let me take care of that because I care about Yosuke and Yosuke's commercial. And I want to help I'm gonna use Crystal for example if she's watching, but she is not one of like she's super organized. But let's pretend like she's everywhere, for example, okay? Because Crystal understands, we love her. We're using an example for Crystal. So I do all of that for Crystal, right? And
I
then,
like her. She
she
laughs my jokes.
But like we do all that for her, so then all she's got to do is show up, and then I do the invoicing. Well, if I start doing that, then I take like a cut of that because we're making it easy for my people, my friends.
That's awesome.
And that's kind of how it started.
Yeah.
And then it just kept growing. And then when it started growing, and then I was bringing on people I didn't really truly know, like I hadn't have a long relationship with.
Yeah.
Then I had to start creating kind of rules and structure, because then it became about me and who I vouch for, and I've always been really big about that.
Like a MarloHause stamped.
It's a stamped thing, yeah. And so because I care about your commercial and the representation, because you asked me to do it and I can't do it, well, I've got to send an extension of me, someone that I can say like, you'll be just as well taken care of.
Yeah.
Then I have to hope and make sure that they have that, and then I have to make sure that I want to have enough of a relationship with like your company.
Yeah.
That then you can call me and say, they need areas of opportunity. They have, they need help here.
Right.
So, and I've had those calls, and those are tough calls, right?
Right.
So, but that doesn't mean that that they're bad. They just needed a little training.
Yeah.
Well, then my years of management comes in play, and I'm like, okay, well, I can help them with that.
Yeah.
I can make them really good at that. So then, everything started with me just like a need came or a call came, and I couldn't do it, and I couldn't just say no.
Huh.
So
do you train them as like a skill for the makeup, or do you train them like a business skill, like a customer service?
Yeah,
in a way?
Or etiquette. Yeah. So it's both. Just depends on So if I'm teaching someone or mentoring someone to go from from the counter to production, I normally try to be on set with them. Like they assist me a few times or shadow or something. I find something that we're together. Yeah, we teach etiquette, when to jump in, when not to, how to know what you're looking for.
Right.
So it's a little bit of both. It's makeup and etiquette. And then a lot of it's about being organized and keeping your world small, not coming and spreading out. And
so are they like a full-time?
Who's that?
Those
the people?
team?
No, they're just like I am. So they're just independent artists. And then they go out and they have their own work and their own jobs and they have to, be their own business. But anytime they come under my umbrella, so anytime Yosuke calls and I say, I'm not available, but this person is, well, then I'm calling and saying, hey, can you represent me? Can you work underneath MarloHause? We have a contract and everything, but that's basically the conversation is, are you booked to this day? Are you willing to do it for this much? And when you accept it, will you do it under my brand? So they don't have to accept it all.
Gotcha.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like a kind of like you have a talent agency, but for the makeup.
Yeah. So some people consider us an agency, and I always try to be really careful with that word, just because an agency, you're representing the artist for who they are. And they negotiate their own rates, and you're kind of getting them work. And this is a little different because the work's actually my work. You know what I mean? Like the call is
to you.
Toni.
Yeah.
And so I'm meeting someone to kind of mold under like Toni's style, Toni's etiquette, Toni's way.
Yeah.
In a way.
Okay. Yeah.
So I feel like it's not fair to say agency.
Gotcha.
And over the years, I've tried to I know that everyone's going to be like me, and that's great because I'm not going to be a perfect fit for everybody. So I do kind of try to learn different artists have different personalities and styles, and then once I learn those, I do try to match that with a commercial. Because every director's a little different, or the producers of a shoot, they're a little different. Some of them like you standing right there every take.
Yeah.
Some people are more standoffish. Some people are like, no, you're fine, just
do whatever.
Just check them before they come in. I don't need you in there.
Right.
So you have to read that room, and certain artists are on it, and some are more laid back. And so I try to match once, but in order to do that, I have to work with them first, and that's where it also gets tricky. Is I have to be available. Because once I can kind of feel them out, well, then Connie and I, the client coordinator, she'll say, hey, this job called. What do you know about him, and who should we put on it? And then I'm part of saying, let's put this person or that person because I think they're a better fit for that.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's like a difference from agency route, right? Because
to be honest, I've never been represented by an agency either. So I'm winging it.
Because we call ourselves as a marketing agency
right.
or advertising agency, and then if they hire us, I have my standard. If I don't approve the video, it won't go out.
Oh.
Because I say we'll go reshoot it or re-edit it, or this is how I want it, and then everybody's trained in my thought process on the creative side. And then I have like what is good creative means. Here's how you have to make a good video, how you have to make a good graphic. We have like a standard.
You have a standard.
And then if you don't meet that standard, then we will not send it to client. So client will not know who it's coming from.
Yeah.
It's like if I edit it, or if somebody edit it, if I shoot it or somebody shoot it, it's going to be a same price because they're going to pay same price.
Right.
But like some, how many hours it takes and all that kind of stuff. But
okay, so that's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
In that case, yeah, then I would be an agency in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just a whatever, right? Like it's just a
like
words. It just doesn't really.
I think the hard part for me when it does come to agencies, there are agencies that represent makeup artists.
Yeah.
They're just not in Oklahoma, so I just feel like until I'm at one, I don't want to be like, it goes back to that fake it till you make it. I'm like, I don't actually know what they do. So until then, I'm just gonna make my own thing and figure it out.
So that how do you? I like asking these question to creatives, right? Like, how do you value and how do you price yourself, right? Because like usually, I'm pretty sure like when you started doing like a Long Grove or whatever, the movie, the day rate or whatever, versus now how you price is probably different, right? Like how do you do that now?
Oh man, the rate on that one. So commercials tend to be a flat rate, and then from there you'll negotiate down if they kind of say they don't have a budget for it, right? We know that story. In commercials, you can tend to take it or leave it a little bit more. With films, you do it based off the scale of the overall budget.
Yeah.
But it's tricky to find out what that number is, because what you're told and maybe sometimes what it is isn't always the truth.
Yeah.
So you kind of have your like bottom dollar. I can't pay bills unless I'm making this much a day, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, you try to figure out what the scale is and just go up. And
so those who
it's not a cinematographer fee, I'll tell you that.
Those who are trying to do the career change, or like they wanted to know like how much makeup artists make.
Yeah,
like
but depending on what, like what are we?
Let's say from the movie business or bridal business, like both different, right? But But like what about like movie business?
Number?
Yeah.
Given numbers.
Yeah.
You want me to give numbers? Okay. So in Oklahoma. Hold on, I gotta think about it. So in Oklahoma, a tier 1 movie, so I know that gets complicated, so Google it, students out there.
Right.
So a tier 1 movie, that means it hits a certain budget. I think, don't quote me, it's like in the high 20s, low 30s an hour. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that's at 8 hours, and after 8 it's time and a half, and then after 12 to 14, depending on the contract, it goes into double time. So that's that. And then it kind of goes down. It's in that scale. It depends what position you have. So if you're a department head, it starts at one rate, a key's another, a third is what they call it, or an additional makeup artist is another one.
Right.
Indies right now, like indie films in Oklahoma, non-union, are like in the 250 to 300 range. I think there are indies out there.
Like a day?
A day. It's a flat rate.
Yeah.
Which I recommend that if you do a flat rate, you have some type of something in your accrual memo of what happens after 12.
Maybe you have to get...
sorry.
Okay.
You have to do something after 12.
Okay.
So I think there are like smaller budgets that do like $200 a day. You got to start somewhere, but at the same time, it's hard for me to ever recommend that. I don't know. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Because if you want to get into the business and you want to learn, you can't walk in with a certain sense of like, yeah, I deserve this amount.
Yeah.
But it's also hard that filmmakers can use that to their advantage, and so I don't know. It's a very delicate feeling for me. Yeah, it's very complicated.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in that range ish.
What about bridal?
Bridal, depending on your skill level. So that's one that's a little closer to like depending on your skill set, depending on your what in demand, how much you want, things like that. On average, a bride is $150 a face, like a bride, and then the bridal attendants.
A face.
So like a bride is $150 for her makeup, can be anywhere from $100 to $150 for her hair. That's at like kind of the level where I'm at. Like that's our pricing.
Okay.
Some charge less, some charge more. I don't know very many people that charge more. Maybe they're out there, but I'm not sure. And then bridesmaids are anywhere from like $75 to $100 for makeup for face, hair, in that same range.
Huh.
Yeah, and some go lower, and that's great. It just depends on your level. That's one of those things where I don't think that people should come out of the gate charging too much unless you're ready to work with that caliber of a bride.
Yeah.
Because typically that range, that bride is spending X amount of dollars, pretty good amount on the wedding, and be ready to have a huge arsenal, be ready to have more luxury brands.
Yeah.
Be ready to show up.
Yeah.
So if you're not ready for it, then. Yeah.
I mean, as a cinematographer and a photographer stuff too, the same thing. It's like you just kind of compare to like what others charging.
Right.
Yeah, and then
you compare.
Yeah, like for example, like a wedding videos and stuff. Like I started making like $500 video.
Right.
But now I'm not gonna do anything less than $5,000.
There it is. Yeah, okay.
So like,
but now at this point, you have like the videos of your work. Like they can look at your past work, right?
Yeah.
And so there's more of a value to it. When you're just trying to build up videos at all, then you will take.
Yeah, like I have experience, like what kind of gear I have, and then like. I might make a mistake, but to make a mistake is so super low, like if whoever is like just bought a good camera going to wedding, maybe they have a sounds off. I have a backup.
Yeah. So really what they're paying for is $5,000 worth of not screwing up. Like you're going to be where you're supposed to be in that moment.
I mean that's a part of it, but also like basically what I tell them, like I don't really do wedding much anymore.
Right.
But what I was telling them is that, hey, this is what our experiences are, and then you like my style. They pay for my style because like I have a certain style of shooting, certain style of editing, and then also certain level of the quality. So like anywhere I go to, I look at them, I ask them the venue and what kind of vibe they have.
Right.
And then I know I can meet that standard. And then I have a hire my assistants and all that kind of stuff. And then I can deliver this time, and then I'll meet the deadline. So like, it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed quality. But whenever I was starting, I have nothing.
Right.
I don't have a portfolio. I don't have, I didn't even have a style. I don't know what I was doing. I don't
they
even
got what
know.
they paid for.
Yeah.
Like they paid less, and they had to be more patient with you figuring it out. And so
I
think that we're similar in that way, where definitely in the makeup world, people are paying for a style.
Yeah.
And you have images and stuff to show your style and go from there. Yeah. And it's also you're paying for a guarantee that it's gonna stay and it's gonna look the way it's supposed to look and it's gonna look good on camera. And
it's also organization too, right? Because you have to tell them, say, hey, this is what you need. This is what I'm going to have.
Right.
Tell me if you don't like it, then you better let me know before the day.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
That's what the trials are for. And is it going to stay on? And is it going to look the way it's going to look? I unfortunately, I think the hard part about brides is that they're normally getting married for the first time.
Yeah.
Essentially. Or even if it's the second time, it's not like they're professionals at knowing what to ask.
Right.
And so it's up to us in the bridal world to kind of help them know what to look for.
Yeah.
Versus producers and directors, like this is what they do for a living, so they know how to ask the questions. And it's sad. Sometimes brides pick bad vendors because they just didn't know what to ask for. They didn't know what to pay for. And so it's tricky. And I approach the bridal business with a lot more grace and a lot more patience.
So if somebody, like my employee is getting married tomorrow, Tim, congratulations. But anyways...
Tim, we got someone getting married here?
Yeah, Tim, he's been working for us for not a long time, but like a couple months now.
Yeah.
And then he's getting married tomorrow at the Cowboy Museum.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah,
okay.
and it's a Asian wedding, so
That's
I guess
cool.
he's
Early
gonna
morning.
get like a shit face. That's what he was saying. So, but I was getting at is that when people are looking for makeup artists for wedding, right? You say some bridal get like screwed or like they don't ask questions, right? Like a good question. What's the advice you have for them to what kind of question do they should ask?
Oh, that's a good question. I have to think about that. I think it's definitely doing research on like checking reviews. The bride should really know kind of not what they want. That's part of this discovery, right?
Right.
But really understanding, yeah, the organization, if they care about things being on time or things being clean or things like that, I mean, yeah, you kind of have to check reviews. You have to do a trial. You have to kind of understand what maybe a going rate is, looking at the work and asking
What is
other
a
friends.
trial?
A trial is like where they come and we do, like it's what I did today, like you do a run through.
Or you just put the makeup on?
Yeah, you do it like it's their wedding day. You do a run through. So in our case, in our business, we create like a client profile, and it has a picture of them, and it has a picture of their pictures that they want, like their inspo pics is what we call them, like inspirational pictures, stuff that they want to see. And it can be one image, it can be several, it's whatever, and that just gives us like the start of a dialogue to say, well, what do you like about this? What do you like about this? And we're figuring this out because essentially, like in makeup, and I'm this way with actors too, is like we're explaining to them that we're painting this picture together. This isn't like, now this is my style. Other makeup artists are different, but my style is like we're painting a picture together. That picture is your face, but like this is a collaboration of two people, and it's a dance of our personalities. It's a dance of energy. I'm about to be in your personal space.
Yeah.
I'm about to put this piece of wooden pencil in your eyeball. Like, you gotta have trust, right?
Yeah.
But then we're also, there's really no wrong answer to what they like. It's not like, sit down, trust me, I got it. There's 5,000 ways to do a look, more than that. So I just got to find out what you like about what I'm doing, and then I adjust accordingly when you don't like it or you don't know yet. So it's
like, do you have like a create mood board or something?
Well, they have their inspo pics, and then I start asking them questions about what they like and don't like about those pictures. So I figure out, is what I'm seeing and you're seeing the same thing?
Interesting.
And then from there we go. But then the whole time we're doing it, they're looking at a mirror, we're figuring it out, and they're also figuring it out in real time. They could look at a photo of someone that's like perfectly Instagram faced, airbrushed, right? And they think it's beautiful and smooth, but in reality, they don't wear makeup every day. So the minute I put that much makeup on them to make them that smooth, they're going to hate it, because this is a photoshopped photo. So I have to figure out before I put that much makeup on them, are you just seeing that she's poreless and perfect? Because to make that happen, you're about to have a lot of makeup on. Like, it's about to look really heavy.
Right.
Because this isn't real life. Like,
right.
So you're helping them understand that. And
yeah.
so they're having to figure out, like, oh, I'm still going to see skin. When I say skin, like, you're going to see like your freckles and your pores and like, anyway, so I can go all day about that, but it's helping them figure out what it is they like and don't like.
Why do you tell them that? How do you tell them, say, hey, this is a dream, this is not realistic, right?
Sometimes I do. I kind of say, well, so first I say, what is it about the photo that you like?
Yeah.
And then if they're like, well, I love, they start breaking it out. I'll go, okay, that's beautiful, right? But this part right here, like, I can kind of point it out. I figured out this right here is photoshopped. You see how this blends? So I just want to make sure that you and I are on the same page, that I can do this style, I can do this color, but this diffusing, like, I'll start picking it apart so that they can kind of start to, like, I try to pull back that curtain.
So you can do that stuff for them, but you think that they don't like that in real life?
Yes. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you don't want this on your face.
Gotcha.
And so I just want to make sure that they see what I see. Because I see it and I immediately go, this is a very airbrushed, heavy photo. Or this is a very beautiful actress that has a lot of makeup on, that is in the right lighting. And if you're not used to seeing yourself look that way, you're going to hate it. So I'm saying that in my head. So then I have to talk them to help them understand what it is that it is. But it's also about figuring out who they are. So if they're a nurse with 2 kids that never wears makeup, and then they give me a picture of Kim Kardashian, we've got to make sure that they understand what they're asking for.
Right.
Now, if they say, oh, yeah, when I walk down the aisle, and I've asked this question before with brides, is like, when you walk down the aisle, do you want people to go, oh, look at her, she looks so pretty and looks like just the best version of herself, or like she looks great? Or do you want to walk down the aisle and they go, oh my God, is that so-and-so? Like, if you want a transformation, we can do that, but most brides want to look like themselves.
Right. And
so that's where the conversation and the trust comes in.
That's a good way to do it.
You're gaining their trust.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because, like, I get my clients, right? Then, like, they talk about, because, for example, video production, for example, like if you're making commercial, and then they have budget, let's say $8,000.
Yeah. And they're showing you a Nike commercial, and that's what they want.
Exactly. And then, like, I'm like, yeah, I could do that if you have like a 100 times more budget.
Right.
And also, like, we don't have like Russell Westbrook or whatever. So I have to explain, like, this is the level of the stuff, and then this is the camera I have to use to achieve that goal. But like it's interesting to me because what you're saying is it's not price issue, right? Is that price issue?
Right. No, I mean,
It's more of like a feeling, or like it's more of a style issue,
it's
right?
a style issue. Yeah,
So
it's helping them see what they.
That's
yeah.
very interesting. You do that. Like, do you do that trial before they pay you, or?
Well, they pay it. That's separate. Some bridal makeup artists don't do that. Sometimes they include it because they insist on a trial. So they're like, I'm this much money, and that includes a trial. For me, I never want anyone to pay for both if they don't want both. I never want someone to pay for both, do a trial, and then we not be on the same page, or we just not be each other's cup of tea, right? And now they're obligated because they've already paid for the wedding.
Yeah.
Like in other words, I never want to be somewhere where I'm not wanted. I never want my team to be anywhere where I'm not wanted. So the way I view it is everything's a la carte. If you want a trial, we recommend it. It's great. We can work through all the kinks. We can work throughout everything. But if you don't want that, you want to pay for it, we'll show up the day of and figure it out.
Huh, interesting. I
And
would
you
like
don't have to do it.
I would
Yeah.
like to know how you structure like pricing that stuff. 'Cause
It's just a la carte. Everything's a la carte. But they pay, that trial is the same price as the day of. So I don't give a discount. We used to give a discount because it's like a trial experiment, but then it got to the point where really the trials were spending way more time with them than normal.
Yeah.
So, because it's a lot of talking and stopping and those kind of things. And I also I prefer it, but we don't need it. So we just started pricing it the same.
Huh.
So you're paying for 2 basically wedding days.
Interesting. So like
You want it.
Huh?
I recommend it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't need
Yeah.
it. But maybe I need to. But
I'm all for man makeup. Oh, can I tell you, by the way, we have been doing so much more like grooming on the groom's side than ever. Like the last 2 years.
Like a haircut?
No, like makeup.
Huh.
Yeah, like men are starting to figure it out that they look better
With the makeup
on for their wedding day. Yeah, like they're next to like this stunning person, their partner forever with perfect hair, perfect makeup, this wedding dress, right?
Right.
And then you got this like red blotchy sweaty guy next to him in the photos, like you've done shots, and they're like, or they're like broke out, or they have like razor burn, and like I think men are coming to a point.
Yeah.
In 2020, 2021,
Do
where
they
like
ask
you
you?
look better. We book it. It's like part of our pricing.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, a lot of times the bride is saying, hey, I think that, I want to book for my groom. But yeah, they're more than ever, they're getting used
Like how
to
many
it.
percentage? Like 50-50?
No, not yet. It's like, it's a lot lower, but it went from it being a one-off, like, hey, he's got a bruise or he has like a pimple.
Yeah.
To maybe 5 or 6 a year, maybe. So it's getting there.
Maybe we should have done it before the podcast today.
What?
And
We
show
should've.
the audience, say,
Yes.
hey, I got makeup on. Maybe I look prettier
I
today.
know. Well, the bridal trial I did today,
Yeah.
we're doing the groom side.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So he probably liked it?
He likes a little eyeliner.
Huh.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
I love it.
Huh.
Men look better when they're polished up, so why would we not?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And coming from a production world,
Yeah.
that's where it helps me is I'm not putting beauty makeup on men. It's making them look camera ready.
Oh, yeah, you put every actor.
I literally, and I tell them that when there's like makeup, the ones who are kind of hesitant about it, and it's the brides that want it, I basically explain what I do.
Right.
And I explain other stylists on my team. And yeah, you explain every guy they ever watch on TV, on every sportscaster, John Wayne, like, you kind of explain to them, like, you watch all day men with makeup on. So
That's true.
get used to it.
Yeah.
And you look better with it. So like,
Right.
why don't we just like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, so like you like doing like movie stuff too, and
Love
you
it.
do bridal
Yeah.
stuff. So of course, a lot of, I even say, like Hollywood makeup artists, right?
Right.
Like there is a lot of places that bigger for. I mean, Oklahoma film is growing,
Right.
but since you're super successful, what was your decision to stay in Oklahoma?
It's a long story. So I wanted to originally move to a larger market.
Mm-hmm.
And when I wanted to do that, I was still with Mac, but I wanted to move. I was with the cosmetic company.
Yeah.
And I wanted to move to a larger market and then eventually go from there, right? And then the housing crisis happened. So what was that 07?
Yeah.
09?
7,
Right,
8, yeah.
And I was at that age. My husband and I were at that age where we kind of started to understand that like being in a bigger city isn't always better.
Yeah.
And owning home and equity and like having family and like having rooted, having your parents around you, like those kinds of things became more important. Because when you're teen, in your 20s, you're like, I'm out of here.
Right.
And we were at that age where we were like, this is kind of okay. And then when I left to go freelance, it was always kind of in the back of my mind that maybe that's something I want to do and go to a bigger market. And I just continued to keep working here. And I'd be fine working in a larger market. But then I started to realize that Oklahoma, it has stability that larger markets don't have. And not stability just as the economy, housing, kind of the standard, like price of living, the normal boring stuff, right? And the stability is also, we're like a new film community. I say new at 20-ish, 30-ish years. Sorry if my numbers are off. In my world, at least 15 that I'm aware of, right? Yeah. Longer than that. But it's small, and so it's thriving. It's ambitious. People still are really good to each other. It's not overly saturated. You kind of know everybody. And I worked on just a few, like when bigger shows would come through. Yeah. And you work with, people from out of town. Yeah. And not a knock on them because they come from a different culture, but I started to appreciate and value the culture that Oklahoma film has versus larger market. Gotcha. So it's like no knock against Hollywood. They're the OGs, but they are a more older and kind of jaded, their culture is a more jaded culture of sometimes of how they are with each other and how they are with people. And, it's a harder market to be in. Yeah. And we're still so green and happy to be with each other. Yeah. That like, why would I want to leave that? And, I couldn't leave it. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like your baby. You gotta. You're still enjoying it. And again, I've worked with great people in LA that I still am in contact with and all of that. But there's something here about working on these sets with your friends that it makes it. I think everybody starts out wanting to work in film and then wanting their end goal to be like, go to a LA. Marvel movie, and that's the thing that makes you retire, or whatever. But I just kind of started to appreciate the value of doing movies that I just enjoyed being on. So even if it never really went anywhere, or maybe it ends up on somewhere small screen type thing, I enjoyed my time there, and I enjoyed the people I met, and I enjoyed my crew, and I got to kind of workshop new techniques. And so for me, it became more about the experience than what was on the resume.
Do you watch movies you work on?
Yeah.
Every movie?
Almost. There's a few that there's a few that I've said, nah, I'm not gonna. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I mean, at least once, and sometimes I like to watch them alone if I'm nervous about how it's gonna turn out. Right. Not so much like the movie itself. Yeah. Like I have no control, and that's something that I think people forget about crew members is we have no control what happens after we're done with our job. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, sometimes if I don't think that I'm gonna like the makeup, because also once I'm done with it and it goes out on the screen, it gets color. It can get colored and it gets edited. And for sure. So I've lost all the control once. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
I saw like you have on the IMDb you have like 52 credit.
I know.
And like that's awesome. And then like what was your favorite movie you worked on?
Like the experience?
Overall, happiness.
Yeah. I worked on. And there's a couple, but I worked. Yeah. You know what? People ask me this all the time, and I normally just tell them the last thing. I don't know, but I'm really trying to be like for real.
Yeah. Be frank, right?
All right, be frank. Yeah. So I worked on a movie called Hosea, and it was a really great working experience. There's been a couple. This is one of many, but it was a really great working experience for a multitude of reasons, and it was a really small budget, but it was so efficient that it did not feel like a small budget, and it turned out to be one of my more favorite films as far as like how it turned out. And I know that it's out in the world, but it did not get, in my opinion, nearly the praise that it should have. And I think it had to do with distribution or something that happens past my job part. But it's really, really solid. And I was happy with how it turned out, my looks wise. I was happy with the experience. I was happy with all the things about it. And so that was probably something I like think back on in that crew. And then some other films that are probably my favorite experience-wise. I mean, I have to think about it, but like there's some that it wasn't so much about how the movie turned out. It was about like something I learned or someone I bonded with. But I did. I was a department head for I Can Only Imagine, and that was really successful here. And that was a really good experience. And I learned a lot on that. And so there's a couple that I really enjoy. But even the tough ones, there's something that really like bonds people together.
Yeah.
And then it makes them
like you're going to go into like you follow.
Yeah, right. Just weirdly traumatized. It's hard to say what your favorite is, because also like even if the movie. I worked on this female arm wrestling movie called Golden Arm, and I think it's out on Amazon. That was a really fun experience, and the actors were solid, and everybody were just so. When I'm coming home at the end of the day not stressed or not spinning out about the day, then I know that I'm having a good time, and so those are the ones that are just so worth it.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember every time, like I was talking about movie, and a lot of people ask like if actress is like a diva,
right?
The longer like whatever the movie, but I was like that was like 110 degrees, 120 degrees, right?
Hot.
And then that one actress, I'm not gonna name her or whatever, but I never forget. She said like I want a water. She said she wants.
I don't know if I know this story.
And so I just like walked like about a mile to go get cold water, right?
And people should tell the people listening, you were the sound guy on that, right? You were the boom.
Yeah, I was boom.
You were not.
I was boom. I was not PA.
Yeah.
Like I was doing everything.
You were a producer. You were like just the boom.
I was doing anything I can to like get into my foot in the door in the movie industry. I was holding boom on the back of pickup truck. I shouldn't have done that. But anyways, so I went to
things we did on that one.
Yeah, I went to glove the water bottle. I grabbed like maybe 4 or 5 bottles for everybody. Mm-hmm. So I walked for like a half a mile. I walked back for half a mile and then said, hey, here's a water bottle for you asked for. And she asked me for straw. So I was like, damn. This
which
is
actually my job. I have the straws, which is ironic.
So I was like,
you should have said not my department. Tony's got
I didn't know.
Oh.
I didn't know. But so I'll never forget
you
that.
You just had this moment of like, oh my God.
Yeah. So like,
yeah,
when time comes,
Yeah, which is interesting, the straw part, because they didn't have lipstick on in that movie. Like I wasn't like, so I carry straws for actresses because if you have lipstick on, it keeps, if you're coming off, it like helps my job.
Yeah.
But if you're not wearing lipstick because you're in the middle of the woods.
I guess she had her chapsticks on.
I guess so.
I don't know.
But that was your first experience being like, what?
Yeah, that was like first bad, whatever. Like, I was just almost, yeah. But anyways, so.
Yeah, there's some doozies.
Yeah, I'm asking this question to every guest, but, do you have, if you're giving yourself advice in 5 years ago yourself, so 2017-ish?
Okay. This month?
Sure.
November of 2017?
Sure. What would you say to yourself?
So if I'm going in a time machine.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is a time machine, this motion. I'm going in a time machine and I'm going to land and tell myself something.
Yeah.
Okay, well, November 2017, I was on a low budget indie moving to a larger union film. And I was leaving a week early. Mm-hmm. Of the smaller film, putting someone in place to finish it out for me so I could start the next one. So I say that to say I was super busy and stressed and trying to juggle it all. So I would probably, my work-life balance was a little intense.
Yeah.
That probably would be an advice, work on work-life balance, when to say no. No, I wouldn't say that. You know what I would do? I probably would time machine back, look at myself and say, you'll be all right. You'll figure it out.
That's a good life.
Maybe that's it. You'll figure it out. I think because everything you go through is like to give advice to then not do that thing or to skip those steps.
Yeah.
I feel like is a disservice, right?
That's very true.
I don't know if that's what you were planning on.
No, that's okay. I mean, that's a good way to put it too. Every
gotta do it.
Every mistake or whatever, you have to make it to learn it.
You have to make it. But during that time, I did learn during that particular time period. It's really interesting you say 5 years ago. That was a period of my career where I was learning, like, I got to balance this a bit more. Like, I'm taking on way too much and I'm feeling like I've got to hold it all together.
Yeah.
Which I still go through phases. This is definitely a daily struggle for me. But hold it all together, and I think that was one of my more breaking points of like I gotta calm down.
I mean, how many days do you have a days off? Like a week?
I don't know.
Do you have like a Saturday, Sunday off?
Well, no. I mean, if I'm just like not working that day, then I don't have a gig that day, and then I'll just do something semi-productive like at home. But then
so you work 7 days a week?
Not always. I mean, it depends on the job. So I don't have like a set time off, but like if I don't have a gig, right?
Yeah.
But I also have the freedom to kind of like, I don't know, go to lunch with somebody or hang out. Like a friend of mine was just in town, and so we went out yesterday and the past couple of days. So I guess I don't keep track of it because I'm always kind of doing something. I mean, and you are too, right? Do you ever have just a day off that you're like, I'm not touching my phone all day?
I do.
You do?
Yes. Every month,
Once a month?
Every month I have a day called Yosuke Day.
Okay. That rhymes. I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of like I leave my phone and then no human interaction. That day. Like, because I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. If I wanted to go gym and see somebody, yes. But if I don't want to talk to people, that's Yosuke Day. I just like don't care. I just don't talk to people. If somebody say hi to me, I just don't answer.
Do you and you prep everybody this is Yosuke Day?
Oh, just my girlfriend or like even employees, like they don't know, but I don't answer.
Wow.
It's
so
me.
did your girlfriend leave the house that day?
Yeah.
Wow.
They have to leave.
They have to leave. You have to be completely alone that day. Okay, wait. I have another question.
Yeah.
Do you change that date? Have you ever changed the date?
Yeah, it's the kind of things I do that, but it's kind of like I know that like, I need that Yosuke Day.
So then you just pick a date. But then what if you get a big call or a big gig? Then you're like, well, Yosuke Day now has to wait till next Wednesday.
It will move. It's not like
move.
It's not like a 4th of July or anything like that. It's not that important, but it's important to me to have a mental health like reset because of I'm on the phone all the time. I talk to a lot of people.
Right.
Like a stress or whatever, even whatever food I like, that kind of stuff.
Do you read? Like you don't get on your phone at all?
Well, so
I'm still baffled. I still have questions.
Yeah, so like I might get on the phone too.
Okay.
But like I don't really check the messages.
Got it. You're like mindlessly scrolling Instagram or something like that.
Maybe, and I play like a games on the phone.
Okay.
I might watch a movie. But I might go for a walk.
Okay.
But I might go to the gym. I might go for a run for like 2 hours.
I love that.
Just whatever I want to do. Nobody will tell me what to do.
I love that.
Yeah. That's what I do. Like I try to do it every month, but sometimes, life. But it's just kind of like it's good for me and good for the relationship too. I think it's just kind of like sometimes you need a space, and then sometimes you need to let them know that say, hey, it's nothing against you.
Right.
This is a routine thing, so it's not like, oh, I'm mad at you.
Right.
I'm taking a break now. But if you're doing like every month, they just expect.
Yeah, I like that. I call them sometimes decompress days.
Oh yeah.
After like a big project, Tony Day. Like I'm just decompressing today.
Yeah.
So I have those, but I can't say I plan them. It's just one of those. It's like I don't have anything in that day.
Yeah.
And I want to try to keep it that way.
Yeah.
So. But it's very miscellaneous.
Yeah.
It just depends.
It's just a mental thing though, because I just tell myself like this is my day. So,
I love that.
I don't care about the people.
I need to have more of those. But sometimes they happen surprisingly. I have a day where I don't have a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I'll have like a task list of productive-y things that aren't super work related. Sometimes my like something that I do to decompress.
Yeah.
Which is still work related, but it makes me feel better as I like will clean and sanitize and like reorganize my kit.
Oh, you can do that too.
Or I restock my stuff, or I like repallet, all the little tiny things that you see us have. Those come from bigger things that I have to sit there and like repallet.
Right.
And so that to me feels like a day off because I'm like sitting and I've got Netflix on and I've got some random like, I don't know, trash reality show on something I can half watch and I'm like depotting things.
Yeah.
So technically I'm working.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think so. Like, it feels good to me.
I mean, if that feeds your soul, then like you should.
That is so lame. But that's what feeds my soul. I'm like washing brushes, being like, oh, this is so soothing.
I mean, sometimes I clean too. Sometimes I clean bathroom. You know, sometimes like I reorganize fridge or whatever. I just like completely clean out.
God, I live to reorganize.
Or like I just like shit my dog, you know.
Oh, okay.
You know, like
this makes me feel better because those are still productive things.
It's productive.
But so it's hard to say a day off because I'm trying to think when do I do nothing. But I do
but like
that.
if I wake up, I don't set an alarm that day, and then if I want to go bed, like you know, then I'll go to bed.
That's
like,
pretty great.
It's just whatever.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty great. Yeah, I'll say Sundays. My husband and I try to be off and we try to do something. Yeah. Doesn't always happen, but Sundays. Yeah. So I'll give you that. I try on a Sunday.
That's good.
That's my day off.
That's good.
Ish sometimes.
So another things that, what do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh man.
Future stuff.
Oh God, what a year is that?
2027, 8, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So this is I don't know. You want advice? Is it like what advice would I give?
No. How do you see yourself?
Like what's my goal? Oh, it's like a
goal. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. You know, we're gonna be in a different home by then. We're looking at moving to a different place. The business will have to take shape. We'll have to take a new form because there's going to be some changes happening. So that's got to take some new form, and I have to make the decision of what that's going to be and look like. And I hope that the film community continues to grow and there's some more stability with like the rebate. So this just can progressively formed. It's not very big and visionary. It's very like a grounded, this is my plan for 5 years. Yeah. But yeah, it's this just continuously stronger than what it was.
Yeah.
And reshaped a bit.
Yeah. That's a good goal though. Like, cause like
it's tangible.
I mean, that's something that, you know, people will say that if you're like happy where you are, you know?
Yeah, I am. I'm content. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And I gotta, you know, work on, like I said, work-life balance and having Tony Day and not being stressed and like in having it and acknowledging that that's what that is and feeling good about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, my support system and my job and what it is that I do and the people that I get to be around is definitely, very content. And something else that I didn't do 5 years ago that I do now, and advice I give people at a certain point in your life, you have to really start curating your world around you, your people.
Yeah, the community.
Yeah. And at first, you just need to take in what comes at you. But like, I'm really focusing on investing in relationships that I serve them and they serve me and we serve each other, and letting go of things that don't serve anymore and kind of cleaning that up.
Do you like host parties and stuff?
Not really, no.
Not really?
I mean, we have people over because we live on the plaza. Okay. But no, like the idea of hosting kind of makes me a little anxiety. I want to go to someone else's house. when you're hosting, you got to be like, okay, guys, I'm ready. I like to like skip out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why do you ask that?
Oh no, me and my girlfriend was just talking about yesterday. So like, that, you know, like she wanted like host people to come over and all that stuff. I'm like,
for her.
Yeah. I'm like, that's cool. Like I always think about like Fast and Furious movies. Mm-hmm. The guy with like, you know, with a tank top with like a Corona beer. Yeah.
Yes.
So with a steak, a cookout. And
that's
like,
what you want to do?
Hey, this is my family.
Listen, you do that while I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Roll out. Yeah, and she can clean up afterwards. Yeah. No, I love that. We have dinners. I mean, we tend to have people over for dinner. So like a little more intimate.
Yeah.
Kind of like couples kind of thing. But yeah, hosting is... Yeah, because also our house is our business.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. Like, so the top part.
Oh, yeah, I've been there once. Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My husband and I live upstairs, and then downstairs is the boutique. It's the living area where people rent out.
Yeah.
And then, so part of, like, if we don't have anything booked, we enjoy not having people over.
Oh, yeah, because
I mean, we love that it's working
all the time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we love that. It's great. That's what it's for. I don't want to knock that, but... Yeah, hosting can feel like work sometimes just because of the way our setup is.
Gotcha.
But in a new place, maybe it'll feel different.
Yeah.
And that's the goal coming soon.
Well, is there any question for me?
Questions for you?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's nothing. It's all good though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be reaching out to you about some website work.
Yeah.
Learning more about this and all the stuff you've done. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you any plug like where people can find you and then?
Where they can find me. So my company is called MarloHause.com, MarloHaus.com. And there's a website and social media and all the things. That's really it. My Instagram is Makeup by Marlo, and that's like my individual page. So, I'd say there's nothing really to plug, but, I'm around. I'm easy to find. You can Google me. You can get me in contact. Let's make a movie together.
Yeah.
Let's do some makeup. Go get married. I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm open. Yeah.
Well, guys, so this was episode 4. Maybe episode 5. Who knows? But thanks for listening, and always be frank. And please subscribe and like and comment. And then all that Tony's information is going to be linking down below. So thank you, guys. Bye.